Hello, hello. And we say a good day to you this day of your time. How are you all doing? We are very pleased, yes. We are excited to be with you, and we thank you first and foremost for allowing us the opportunity to meet you, to co-create together this new reality. Every time that you and your world allow for any being like ourselves to meet you and exchange energy in this way, we both expand. We both expand in our ability to connect with Source and gain much new insight. So, our thanks to you, and let us introduce ourselves. You can call us the Pleiadian Council. We come from a star system that you have called the Pleiades, though we exist at what you would consider a higher dimension, beyond the limitations of your physical space and time. While we do have some degree of physicality, you would describe it more as quasi-physical, as we have as well the ability to use both our consciousness fields and our technology to, in a way, alter the fabric of space and time. And this gives us a very different quality of experience. Our intention in coming to meet you is to serve your planet in your awakening to your potential, to use these energies to expand your understanding to comprehend higher dimensions that you already exist within, and use this to transform yourself and your planet. When your planet has enough of what you would consider an awakened mass to support such interactions, we will come to interact with you, and eventually your planet will come to join a galactic alliance if you choose. Of course, there are many pathways, though you are here today because you have aligned with a pathway that would present to you that opportunity to meet extraterrestrial life and for your whole planet to house, once again, extraterrestrial life here. So, we, in a way, are your ancestors, though from the point that we communicate to you now, much time has passed from our perspective, yet we can communicate from any point in time and space to your point in time and space. Because everything is here and now. And as physical beings, you experience an illusion that you call time. And all of the moments on that timeline that you experience are actually simultaneous when you shift your perspective into a higher dimension. Now, even as physicalized beings, you have the capability of getting to that level and allowing for information beyond localized space and time to reach you. And that is one thing that we hope to inspire within you. As you come to be more and more heart-centered, you will find that you have a sudden knowing, a sudden awareness of beings that do not inhabit the same physical reality around you. And knowing that you have this physical vessel, yet there are these non-physical dimensions that are always available, will allow you to bring much greater joy into every moment, to bring much greater choice. Because every time that you shift into that non-physical awareness, there are many beings that you can encounter that will allow you to gain new information, to change your experience in physical reality, to gain tools to understand how your vibration affects everything around you. Now, your human race has been influenced by many extraterrestrials since the beginning of time. And much before your recorded history, there were certain things that took place. You may know of beings you call Bigfoot or Sasquatch, yes?
Yeah.
And these beings are as well your ancestors. Long ago, there was a faction of beings that evolved from the Pleiadian group. We are one of many Pleiadian groups, more evolved at this point in our evolution. Yet, at other points, long ago, certain Pleiadian factions split off and interbred with other extraterrestrials, some of which were reptilian. The hybridization, you could say, between Pleiadian and reptilian created Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki were in a point of devolution, a natural cycle, like night and day. Coming to your planet, they had the purpose of sustaining their own life as their planet was losing its atmosphere, and they came for the gold. And they created you by splicing the DNA of Sasquatch and themselves and making a new race. And over time you have evolved. You have come to many cycles of great evolution. This is actually the third time that humanity is evolving on your planet. The second 2 times failed. Yet they as well, while they did reach very high peaks of evolution through galactic intervention, they did not get fully balanced, fully in the correct alignment and right relationship with the world around them to sustain life. And this is the time that you will be successful. And what extraterrestrial groups like ourselves learn from many periods of failed intervention is that we did not wish to meet you in that physicalized way until you are ready. And so this communication is the most appropriate form for us to begin to introduce this frequency to you again. Notice that as we come, as we meet you, and especially as you speak with us, there is more that is occurring than simply a transmission of words. And we do say that this transmission of words is not entirely the most evolved way that we could even communicate with you. Today we are speaking, yes, about plants, and many of you have these relationships with these multidimensional allies that allow you to experience higher dimensional potential within your physical body vessel. And as you use this tool or any such tool, you can find that asking for your guides like ourselves to meet you and making the space for us to fill. There are other degrees of transmission that we would love to share with you that go beyond the rational mind that uses such words. One of these expressions is what you would call light language, though allow your imagination to become active, because this is how you tune into your ability to navigate those astral realms and as well create a new vibrational template for your physical reality to manifest from. Are you following us so far?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
All right. So plants. Now, the plant kingdom is certainly much older than any beings even like ourselves. And on your planet, there are many plants that sustain life. They create a network that is magnetic and electric, and even without ingesting the plants are sustaining your life in every moment. And for this reason, we encourage you to have that attitude of gratitude for your plants, of course, and notice that without them, none of this would be possible. Your trees are like antennas. Humans and trees are in a way very similar, as both humans and trees are the ones here who are bridging the spirit and the physical reality. Much like antennas to the spiritual realms above, the trees grow tall and receive the frequencies that they can then anchor into the kingdom of the rest of the plants. And you humans, through your use of the plants, through your cultivation of the plants, and your relationship to the trees, act in a similar way. You allow for those celestial frequencies to come into your natural world. Plants have developed your life, and the plants that you choose to use and consume will alter your own genetic material again and again. All of the plants that have brought you to this point, and all of the other foods, such as animals, so on, are still alive within your DNA. Consider that everything all of your ancestors ever ate is still alive inside of you. Now, these plants are living. They have their own form of consciousness. They have a spirit that goes far beyond the physical body of the plant. And as we have said earlier, because everything is here and now, simply consuming a plant once, or even a plant that your ancestors consumed long ago, even a plant you never consumed for that matter, can be accessed through that field. By calling the plant forward, you can attune to its vibration and it can transmit some energy to you. Many of these plants that you consider medicinal, and especially those that you consider journey plants, teacher plants, are plants that have come from another planet, even. And in the periods of your evolution before, certain extraterrestrials who were once allowed to walk among you brought with them plants that have evolved. One such plant is cannabis. Another such plant is ayahuasca. And yes, many more of these teacher plants have been brought and shared and cultivated. Now, we, long ago, our ancestors, you could say, did support the arrival of this plant you consider cannabis. And this plant is a very important one in your awakening now, as its legalization, its celebration, its new liberation, you could say, is a symbolic of the awakening of the feminine. As you consume the feminine version of this plant, the feminine variety, the medicine that she imbues in you is one that certainly opens you up to many other spiritual realms. And as well as a plant that sort of sticks together, has this very resiny energy. It is a plant that binds. It is a plant that can awaken within you certain shadows that you have yet to release, reveal. And in this process, this plant and many others are making the way for you to balance the masculine and the feminine energies that have been out of balance on your planet for epochs. We could say that this traces back to the Atlantean time frame, and now everything is shifting. Your planet is often referred to as the Mother Earth, and we would invite you to remember that everything is balanced in its expression of gender, though this feeling of a mother is very much accurate, as this planet is what gives birth to all of you. And deep within this planet, there are many layers of living energy from all of the times before in your planet. As you consume all of the life around you, even breathe the air, drink the water, those ancient memories can be accessed. This brings us again to invite you to remember the power of your imagination. Again, we have said this is the portal through which you access many other realms. And your world has sort of defiled the imagination. You have celebrated for children, and at a certain age, then you ask those children to shut the imagination down when you see that it has become overactive. It has made them detached from reality. And what we wish to say is really that imagination is another level of reality. And when you can link your imagination to your heart, when you allow for that bridge to fully open between your mind and your heart, and you can feel in a deep way that these seeming conjurings of the mind can connect to that emotional center, that you are really, through this transmission, opening up to beings from many other realms, you will be able to take your power back to learn to create. Now, what is very special about this universe, this reality, is that all of you are unique beings, and all of the tools that we can suggest to you will work differently for everyone. And this is why trusting in your own imagination and seeing how these tools work for you and how you can change it to meet your own understanding will support you in the very highest way. You are now evolving to a point where many changes are coming to occur on your planet. And this expression of the divine feminine is key in this process. So you could consider the feminine as the creative principle, the principle that allows for chaos to emerge and to nourish that creation in a way that allows freedom for all. The masculine principle directs, focuses, and makes it so that that chaos finds a way to sustain itself. Yet, because of extraterrestrial influence and because of the cycles of your planet, the masculine energy has been dominating this feminine principle for quite a long time. And this has led to your very control-based culture. We won't even use any of the isms that you use to describe your culture for now, because all of these outgrowths have come from a sense that I know better than nature. And the most important thing we can say about ourselves and about plants and about you is that we are all nature. Whether it comes from way up in the stars, way down in the earth, or is walking upon the earth, it is of the same thing. And humans have forgot that nature speaks. We say use your imagination, so all of your senses exist as well at an imaginal level. If you can imagine a scent, you have the ability to use your psychic nose. If you can imagine a color, an image, your psychic eyes are working. And you have learned to doubt yourself because this distorted, controlling energy has said you don't have the knowing. You do not have access to it. You cannot trust yourself. All of the answers you seek are within you. And when you allow for your own imagination to be that antenna, to trust in every impulse, you will gain the insight much more quickly, and your guides will communicate to you in many other ways. When you act upon the information that you receive, you allow for more of that energy to continue to flow. And this is the problem that many of you encounter again and again, is that you receive some great download. That is what you've come to call it. We love this metaphor, yes. You receive the download, and then you start to doubt it, so you don't take the next step. The download becomes an idea, and you keep talking about the idea, and the more you talk about the idea and share the idea with people that maybe were not meant to hear that idea is not part of their purpose, that idea starts to diminish. It starts to dim within your field. Really, what you need to do when you get the idea is put your feet on the ground and take the step forward. That will allow the idea to expand. So it is about that self-trust, because part of the culture of control teaches you that you don't know on your own. You need the outside to get the information. And of course, yes, there is much to learn, and we encourage you to continue to learn, to continue to grow, because there are so many facts out there. Yet, you can only grow really by understanding the interconnectedness of everything. And the culture of the future is one where all of you understand that your own intrinsic passion is your purpose. And when you follow that calling in your heart, you create a unique field that collaborates with the heart field of all others. When everyone is allowed to find their purpose through finding their own heart knowing and acting upon their heart knowing, your world will flow through a sort of chaos that will organize itself. When the feminine principle that we are now describing as chaotic is allowed to have more expression once again, and the masculine principle you have become so used to is allowed to relax and surrender to experience the love of that feminine principle, you will find that you organize yourselves naturally through this free flow. When you place equal value on every individual and understand that your own capabilities, when nurtured, when encouraged, will bring you to create a very organic sort of structure, you will find how natural it is to really thrive. The state of disharmony and toxicity that you have created is only through living in a way that has been unnatural. And now, of course, we wouldn't even say that this is a bad thing. No, not at all. This is allowing you to experience a greater state of contrast, so that when you do reunite once more with all of us and your own guides on your planet that you have abandoned, which we didn't even begin to speak of yet, but for now, when you allow that to emerge again, you will be shocked how quickly things change. It will seem as if it is an overnight change, though of course there will be many great initiations that precede that. So again, we must remember, bringing it back to what we would like to share about with the plants, it is indeed about the heart knowing. As all of these plants are bringing you to find your own unique understanding of yourself. When you have an intention with a plant, listen to your heart first. Make sure that your heart's intentions aligns with your mind's intentions. Your heart shows you directly how you want to feel. And because the controlling culture, again, has given you so many ideas of what you need to have in order to be acceptable and be successful, because all of you want to be successful and acceptable, you instead believe that you need something else in order to get there, rather than going the direct route to the things that you desire, which is love. All of it is love. Now, beyond this physicalized reality, at higher dimensional levels, the structure is energy, is light, is vibration. And even beyond all of that, it is love. Love is a fabric. And this is why when you feel love, you start to get a sense of what is beyond you. Because that love that you feel is the frequency upon which all is built. And so we say you must have a loving relationship with every plant. There is no plant, even ones that would kill you, that is not an expression of love. And even those most toxic plants have some purpose. And even the most toxic people have a purpose. Allow yourself to continually remember that all that you experience is an expression of love. Now, loving plants means many different things. When it comes to your natural world, you must understand as well that your plants are the bodies for the spirit. And the spirit is all around you. You have come as, again, part of this controlling culture to take much more than you need for the purpose of creating some value. Yet your value is intrinsic. And the plants themselves do experience a bit of stress when they are harvested. The spirit of the plant understands the need for humans and plants to interact. And therefore, the plants are never upset with you unless you take much more than you need. And you may find that if you have this sort of relationship with plants, taking much more, using it in a way that feels out of alignment, that reality around you will also come out of alignment. Now, while we say that it is very important for your cannabis plant to come alive now, there's a bit of that happening. So be aware of how much you really need. And we would say that the purpose of every plant is to expand you to such a state of heightened vibration and heightened awareness in love that you are able to return to such a state without the plant at all. And this is why having that very clear intention beforehand of what do I want to create in my life to better the world. How can this plant show me that state and show me those ideas, those ways of being that can enable that? Because again, another idea that has been created out of controlling culture is that reality is mechanical and that there is a solution inherent within matter. When really the solution requires your action and your change collaboratively. And the attitude that the plant is going to heal you has some truth, because when you really have that clear intention, a heart-aligned intention, you will get the download that then allows you to take inspired action. And in that inspired action, the healing that has been initiated by ingesting the plant is allowed to manifest. Without the action, it is simply an empty initiation, we would say. And there is a lot of that as well in your reality now. And we understand that you here today with us are those that are coming together to change that paradigm. And part of that is educating people. We hear in this group from your vibration that many of you are here to educate others about plants. And this is very important because there have been so many distortions in your relation to yourselves as nature. Awakening others to the power of the plant world and the power of intention is one of the great missions of humanity at this time. So we encourage you, if that is in your heart, to do all that you can to create the new culture that understands the power of plants and their purpose for you to explore all that you are and to gain more insight, more information from realms beyond. Now at this time, we do feel we have shared quite a bit with you all, and we would like to ask you now to bring your questions, to bring your ideas for sharing, and we will go even deeper with you. So you may begin this process whenever you wish. Hello, yes.
Hello, thank you.
Oh, we thank you.
In April, my mother passed away, and shortly thereafter, my relationship ended. And I would love some assistance in understanding the purpose of the coming together and the coming apart. I'm having a hard time releasing it.
All right.
And perhaps some inspiration of where I'm going next, and what qualities would be good to draw to me in a new partner.
Well, this conjunction is indeed a releasing of your attachment to the past. And many of you humans tell stories to yourself again and again about the past. And really, this is not a bad thing. The only issue is that you tell yourself stories that evoke within yourself a feeling of loss or a feeling of reinforcement of that pain. So what we would encourage you is to relive those early memories with your mother and with other male figures, maybe with this particular male figure, and change those memories. Use your imagination to get in touch with the needs that were not fulfilled and create a new template memory of needs that were fulfilled, that were met. Create for yourself a happy past so that you can move forward. And from then, really, the answer is in following your highest excitement, following your passion. And this is always going to bring you into resonance with your soul, as your heart is what receives the impulse of spirit to take inspired action. When you live what you love, everything will fall into place. And we would say that you must be partnered with your own heart fully in order to meet a partner that is going to fulfill your needs. You have plenty of abilities to use your mind, to use your head, or to use your body to attract a mate. And this will work, yet it will only make the wounds worse. So every step of the journey, partner with yourself and partner with those around you, as there is so much love that you can simply access right within you in your very inner being. This isn't to say that you do not need a lover. It is only to say that until you are in alignment with the love that you are already expressing through existence, you won't attract the right one. Can you play with that?
Yes. So the purpose of this ending at the time of my mother's passing was...
It's a life transition, yes. And it is a key time to release the negative conditioning laid upon your memories of the past, to transform that, to release that trauma, and to allow yourself to see how the limited conditioning you have inherited from your mother has been affecting your relationships as well. We are saying that enjoy the process. Bring yourself deep into the process of healing, and of course be open to relationships along the way, but again you will realize through this process that the partnering of yourself and your own heart is the only one that will allow you to create and receive the love that you really need. And we can say this about you humans, that you can be next to an avatar, next to the greatest being of light you could encounter on your planet. But if you are not in partnership with yourself, you will not receive any energy at all. Or you will not be able to integrate it. You will not be able to feel it. You will not be able to take it to your cells.
So this was a clearing of the past, because he came from my past. We knew each other as teenagers.
Yes.
And
we understand.
He came for a purpose.
Yes.
And he left for a purpose in a unified way with the past.
There's nothing that happens without a purpose. There's a purpose to everything. And basically the purpose is what you put out comes back. Now, this isn't to say that you are solely responsible for everything that happens to you, though do not question whether or not there is purpose. Simply use your imagination to find the purpose that partners you with your heart. Again, meaning has been described by some of you as a self-destruct button if you use it that way, because it is not the situation itself that will cause you harm unless the situation has killed you. No, it is the meaning that you yourself attach to the situation. So instead of questioning, is there purpose, we want you all to question, which purpose is going to allow me to stay centered in my own heart? Because your heart is a source of love. You simply must come into alignment with it and allow the process of it mending itself. When you bring your focus there, you will feel the pain of its separation. You will feel the pain of a heart that has broken. But there is no such thing as a broken heart. And when you experience a broken heart, it means that you are breaking open so that you center yourself in love. You see?
Are there any inspirations for what I can, I don't know, kindling for my imagination for what I can create in the future for, you know, a stronger love, a deeper love. Any ideas, anything you can give me that I can start to play with, to start to look forward to.
Kindling, you have said. Make a fire. Make a fire, and we want you to write down on little pieces of paper words that correspond with these challenging experiences that you may have had in the past with these individuals. And also words of love, words of gratitude. And any items that you feel sort of disbalanced when you see them, that don't awaken love within you. We want you to cast them in the fire as well. We want you to understand here that destruction is an aspect of creation. And you must come to have this balanced view that the destructive aspects of your life are equally important. We are not saying that you must like all of them, but allow yourself to experience the love within them. Use these scraps as your kindling, and they will awaken within you a new love.
These scraps
of the past, to burn them away. You can even write a story of the life you wish you would have had. This is a very powerful tool for all of you, because so much of the time, especially later in your life, you may get stuck on a certain glitch that you perceive in your timeline, that 5 or 7 years ago I should have made that one particular decision and I would be somewhere very different. Write the story of what would have occurred differently and burn it away, because again, repeating that story is keeping you out of your present moment reality. And what we are saying is right here and right now, you have everything you need.
Is there anything else you would like to tell me today?
No.
Thank you.
We thank you very much. We love you very much.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
The times I've heard you speak before, I get a lot of Sasquatches showing up in
Yes.
my entourage. And when I heard you when you started speaking, there were 4 of them. Now there's 5.
Yes.
What's going on here? And I know I'm kind of a Sasquatch emissary, but I'm missing a piece here. There's something, we need to take this to a higher level.
Well,
Any
would you like to
suggestions?
meet them?
Well, I'm already kind of meeting them.
Well, yes, but would you like to see them before you?
Great.
All right. Well, we can say that that has some significance in your future, and these are among the different beings that you are coming to contact. So to have conscious gatherings where you work with them shamanically will be a very key stepping stone. And we don't need to say as much about it as simply to guide you to allowing the beings that are showing up more and more to teach you how to do this. There are certain ways of behavior that will interest them. And it is about getting more primitive and advanced at the same time. Do you understand what we mean?
I get a feel for it, yes.
Yes. You have come to think that primitive expressions were not intelligent, and really they are of a higher intelligence that you have separated from. So that is the paradox. And these forms of expression will indeed allow you to raise your vibration to a point that they will be very interested in you. They will see you. And understand again, because they exist on a different plane of your earth entirely, you, when you meet them, are on a different planet. You are in a different planet in every nanosecond, yet you are actually shifting to a higher dimensional expression of your planet and then coming back. They are shifting to that threshold as well when they come to meet you. Anything more we can say about this for you?
Is there any way I can strengthen this connection? Any suggestions? Because they're coming in kind of big time.
When you take your time out in the woods for sort of a mini vision quest, there will be many keys for you to receive at that time, and they will start to cue you in on the things that they like. So simply pay attention, because many of the things that they will be attracted to will come to you synchronistically, and you will not need to search. This has already been set in place.
Okay.
So we thank you. Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Hello. Yes. Yes.
I wanted to see if you could give any insight
All right.
on the search for a home.
All right.
Been having a really challenging time, and I know a lot of people who have been having a lot of challenge in finding a sanctuary space, a home for creation and planting roots, and just seems like it's just becoming more and more challenging for so many of us.
Yes.
And I'm looking for guidance on how to put ourselves and our hearts in the right place to manifest this better for all of us.
Yes.
Reality.
So here's one key into manifesting anything that you would wish, is to bring yourself into the emotional resonance with that reality. And when people say that you are at home everywhere, this understanding and this willingness to play with that idea will certainly key you in with this manifestation. So, say for example, a home would bring you to feel calm and centered. And when you take the steps every day to move away from the chaos that is natural when you are uprooted, you can attract naturally, time and time again, every time you center yourself, that reality of a home base and a ground. Now, that is the energetic level. And we would say that one challenge that is seeming very present for many of you is this increase in your financial value of such homes and the desire to be living your heart's purpose and not sacrificing your energy for your economic stability. And this challenge will bring about, for many of you, a very special gift that is better than what you are now imagining. Many of you will be drawn to community living in the times to come, and this sort of living is going to be a great preparation for the changes to occur on your planet. So one way that you can better orient yourself in the direction of creating this stable home is to realize that part of what makes you at home are the connections around you. So imagining that new family and understanding that many of those family members you are already knowing, some you are connected to yet not well acquainted with. Allowing that to be a grounds for making grounds. Allowing that to be the starting point for this network. Can you play with that? Does that resonate for you?
Yeah, it definitely resonates.
Yes. So, again, let us say that you are always at home. And of course, we understand well because the channel finds themselves in the same predicament. And we say to the channel, be present every moment. Allow the journey to unfold. Hold true to that intention and keep that as your focus. Keep that feeling of stability within you and keep focused on what purpose that is going to serve. As the transition, the movement, the freedom allows you to gain many new ideas, much new information. The stability, the centeredness, the home allows you to take all of that energy and weave it into a web. Play with that, and perhaps call upon the medicine of Spider, who knows how to move from place to place and make a new home wherever it goes. Weave your web where you wander, and you will find the web is much bigger than you could ever imagine.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, our thanks to you. Hello.
Hello. So I have a personal health question.
All right.
Are there any aspects I'm missing in dealing with my cough issue?
One moment. Do you like to breathe?
I like to breathe, but it's hard sometimes.
All right. And have you implemented any breath practices, any breath strategies?
Not recently.
All right. We would suggest that. Tools such as yoga and even shamanic breathing practices will allow you to expand your lung capacity. And as this occurs, you will find that this problem gets worse. And we encourage you to keep going. In its worsening, you are going to find the emotional cause behind it. And as the emotional cause arises, we encourage you to dive deeper into the origin points of those feelings. It has something to do with not allowing yourself to own your own truth and own your own expression. And the more that you find this issue arising as you consciously choose to expand your ability to breathe and take in air, you will find it releasing. And yes, different plants that detoxify your lungs, such as mullein and slippery elm even, as teas, will aid you in this process. Though, indeed, it is a process, and understand that it will unlock many great emotional doors and doors into your own heart chakra.
Thank you.
Yes.
Is there anything else?
Unless you have something else you would like to ask us about. No.
No. Thank
All
you.
right, we thank you. Hello, and good day to you.
Hello. What do you think about science and physics? How does that play into all this?
That's very good, yes. That is one level of understanding, and a very important and pivotal school of thought that is allowing you to expand into your awareness in higher dimensions. At one point very soon, those of you in the metaphysical field and in the science field will really collaborate in ways that changes your whole paradigm. So it is great. Though, of course, there are some challenges, because certain degrees of the structure of beyond cannot be understood without the spiritual focus as well. It won't take you all the way. It is only the union of science and spirit that will catapult your understanding.
And how do we unify those two?
Well, there are many who are seeking to bridge these fields. If that calls to you, we would encourage you to do it yourself. Really, it doesn't matter where your focus is, essentially. It is understanding that your own heart is bringing you to gather the pieces of information and share those pieces of information that are contributing to the greater field of awakening in these areas. So, yes, science will support you, and spirit will support you as well. Now, if you would like to research the scientific validation of spiritual ideas, that is a very important tool for educating those who are not yet on board with one side or the other. And we are saying that both are equally important. So wherever you find yourself, if you would wish to find those ideas that validate both sides, that show the interconnectedness of both perspectives, and share those ideas in your own way, that would help in the process as well. There are many even tools and modalities that use science as validation and use science to deepen their understanding. So we say it is all good.
Thank you.
Anything else you would like to share with us about this or anything?
That's all.
All right, we thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
I had two questions. One of them is about a physical thing going
Yes.
on with my eye.
All right.
I have a bit of a little spot on my eye that's kind of makes my vision little black in one spot in my left eye, and it started a couple months ago, like maybe 9 months ago,
Yes.
and I'm wondering if you could give me any wisdom about that or how to heal it.
All right. Have you gone to an eye doctor?
It happened after I'd been to an eye doctor.
All right. And what did they do to you?
The usual.
All right.
Look at my eye. They didn't do any tests.
Yes.
That past the regular. But new glasses.
All right. And do you find that it distracts you, this spot in your vision?
Sometimes if I look beyond the spot, it's okay. But if I bring my vision in, then the spot is distracting.
Yes. In a way, it is a manifestation of ways that you could distract yourself. So notice that the times that you find it distracting, ask yourself what you may be avoiding. And use that awareness to focus your vision in a direction. Look directly at the thing that you may want to distract yourself from, and you may find that this symptom in turn responds. We would also suggest the medicine that you know to be Sananga from the Amazon and see if that does anything at all. We would say that it is very common that it will, and also it will most likely bring you directly to face the thing that you don't want to face through its extreme symptoms.
Sananga?
Yes,
What is that?
there are eye drops that are a little bit unpleasant at first.
Where can I get them? Or,
Oh, we are certain that if you continue to ask around, they will come to you.
I have one more question.
All right.
Thank you. Are the plants around the circle keyed into what we're talking about here?
Yes. They hear everything you think, even.
And how are they feeling about all this?
They are very excited. They really wish for humans to realize your relation once more. So notice that they will feel more joyful here during this gathering on this land than at other times you may see. Speak with them directly. There is much information to be gained from all of the plants around you at all times if you would really choose to take that path. They are happy to share with you.
I see the spirits in the plants sometimes.
Yes.
That's real?
Yes.
And what language do they talk in? The plants? You say thoughts?
Well, it's more of
Questions?
sort of electromagnetic impulses that they use to communicate through their network. Though at that spiritual level, beyond the sort of physicalized plant bodies, there are thought forms that are shared across the plant kingdom into the human kingdom. And it is these sort of waves of energy that you receive that sometimes draw you towards a certain plant.
All right. I sense there's more.
They do not use a language per se, though you could actually channel their energy into a language of your vocabulary or into a language that can be simply transmitted through sound. Now, the plants as well are sort of a home, a sort of anchor point for other realms that you would consider fairies or nature spirits. And these beings are as well very attracted to the plants, and they use them in a way as homes. So these beings you may find around the plants, they'll understand that they are, in their way, their own realm altogether. It is simply the plant kingdom that allows their kingdom to communicate with yours.
Oh. And what is it that the plants want us to know, in general?
That's different for every plant.
It is. The ferns.
The ferns. One moment. They want you to know, really, that they and you are, well, very old, very ancient. And they want you to know that as you watch their leaves, there may be little shimmers of light beneath them that always will have a certain constellation perfectly for you. These ferns are treasure for the fairies, who have known the ferns for much longer than you would think. And there are gifts within them that certainly open up the fairy portals very powerfully.
The fairies come into the ferns and embody
Yes.
them?
Well, they use the ferns to meet you, and in their reality, the ferns' energy is experienced in a much different way. Understand that, again, the plant that you see is the physical expression of it, and in the spiritual realms, the fern has a different expression in the fairy realm. And that expression is coveted. So they need their bodies intact in this realm for the fern to deliver the energy it does to the realm of the nature spirits. And this is why they ask you to walk gently.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
One more question. Are the fairies going to evolve into being more visual to us?
Well, they are always as visual to you as they will ever be.
Yeah.
It is you that will evolve into being better at perceiving them.
They're evolving too, right? The
In a
plants
sense.
and the fairies and us.
From your perspective, yes. In their reality, they are beyond space and time. And so the projections that you receive in your world are simply an interpretation that lines up with your perspective on reality. In their reality, they are eternal beings. And as eternal beings, they experience very different expressions in their higher dimensional realm.
That I can't quite see.
You receive that impression. Again, you can allow for the fairies to interact with you, and they may even bend the spectrum of light and energy around you so that you see a tangible image. More likely, they will communicate with you in your own mind's eye, in your third eye, as you say. And as they do this, they will also send many subtle energy bursts through your body. Simply ask for this and trust in your imagination and surrender, and perhaps work with someone who has a deeper understanding of how these things work, if you would like to. Though we are saying that all of you are just as capable as you'll ever be of doing it. You simply must trust and ask. They may show you many different impressions of their world. They may show you geometries and colors, and they may even play a song for you. And simply receive it and take it in. You can communicate with them, most certainly. And what we're simply saying is that the images that you receive are a translation. Consider that you are all part of a collective consciousness of humanity. You are making certain agreements that uphold your reality. And those agreements are like a prism that takes energies from higher dimensions and makes it something perceivable for you. You see the rays that move through the prism and splinter off into many directions. Yet that prism distorts those higher dimensional energies in a way that you can perceive them. So we wish to say that what we are saying through this channel is only the human version of Pleiadian wisdom. Because real Pleiadian wisdom would be far out of your grasp. It would be far out of your frequency bandwidth. In the same way, the impressions that you receive from fairies, from plants, from many other realms are simply the human translation of those realms. That is not to make them less real for you, for they are very real. This is only showing you why they evolve over time, because as you get clear in your own understanding of yourself and of your reality, you will be clearer channels for these impressions from higher dimensional realms to be received in new ways. This is why it seems as if it is evolving, when really the realm of the fairies, the realm of the angels, and other realms as well are all eternal places.
Oh, thank you. Could you say the name of that plant eye drop one more time?
Sananga.
Okay. Thank you.
We thank you very much, yes. Hello, yes.
Hello.
How are you doing on this day?
Well, how are you?
Very good, yes. Very excited to be with you.
Likewise. Because of my type of work, I've had to spend a lot of time in large cities,
All right.
and that energy can be so chaotic at
Yes.
times. I'm wondering if there's more value in trying to utilize a lifestyle where I'm constantly giving myself to these teachers and plants in nature, or if I should push back against these feelings of chaos and regroup with the city and find nature within.
Well, that is up to you. What would you prefer?
Figuring it out.
All right. Well, we'll give you a hint. It doesn't have to be an either or scenario. It can be a both.
Is there
Now-
anything to be said for the concept of dharma aligning with some soul's purpose that
Yes.
needs to push through?
Yes. And what we say about this is that your own heart is that place of knowing of your dharma and your purpose. Now, again, one of the distortions of a culture of control is an idea that someone outside of you has a better idea of your purpose than you. And so people reach a point of power and control and broadcast the consciousness that this is the way that you fulfill your purpose in society. And while you may rebel against that conditioning in many ways, certain layers of that perpetuate, that keep alive this ancient pattern of believing that you are not enough as you are, and believing that you must, in a way, make yourself a slave to some purpose, when really the joy and the passion that you bring into reality is what allows reality to change. Now consider that emotional energy is the energy that allows for elevated consciousness to spread. When you sustain states of gratitude and joy and harmony daily, that frequency, that bandwidth is made more available to everyone. Of course, you must do certain acts and healings and connective tools that allow for that energy to be really shared. But we are saying that cultivating your own well of joy is what allows the planet to change. And so if you are serving a purpose that doesn't bring you joy and thinking that is what is serving the planet, you are far from a true understanding, really. You would be much better off sitting in a field counting poppies than you would be sitting in an office working for saving the planet if counting poppies brings you joy and sitting in the desk makes you suicidal. That's it. So, are you following?
Yes, I am.
So, what ways can you serve that bring you joy?
Yes. Well, helping others and being with nature and reconnecting with energies within all people, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah.
And is that exciting?
Very much so.
Do you? So, what is your current job that keeps you bound to the city? You could say.
I've been an actor
Yes. And does that bring you joy?
occasionally.
Occasionally. All right. What if you allowed for new roles to be played? What if you acted out different things? What if you acted out from your true self?
Yes, that feels right on.
Well, we have a game that we would suggest, and that is to create new characters. Create characters that represent different archetypes within yourself that you wish to embody, and try them on. You are already very good at this, and we would say that acting is an act of channeling. So you are already tooled up to do this. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Now, in your connection with the plants, many beings will start to present themselves, and you will be encouraged to act out certain energies, act out certain ideas. And this will allow you to find a new way to serve. And it is certainly one that brings joy. And we can say that, again, part of this controlling idea is that you must take a formula to get to a destination, when really the truest formula is passion. There's only one ingredient. That's not to say that all of the steps you are taking are not important and crucial, because they are. Yet sometimes when you divert yourself away from passion for too long, you lose the ability to create enough connections to take the next steps. So make that passion your priority, and realize that some steps of this process may seem as if they have nothing to do with the process. For example, you are busy at work and you feel like it is too much, and you take a walk in the park, and on that walk to the park you meet someone who has a very particular energy and tells you a certain thing that catapults your project in an entire new direction. This is why we say always plan for the unplannable. Always expect the unexpected. Put that into the equation ahead of time, and understand that your heart's barometer is receiving the impulses from the unexpected, from the unplanned for, all the time. And when you are feeling a sudden impulse, don't discount it, because that might very well be the unexpected asking you to follow a new thread.
Thank you.
Our thanks to you as well.
Thanks very much.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
I've been working with the as above, so below
Yes.
understanding, and I'm trying to work with how what happens in our physical body is mirrored in what's happening in the planet.
Yes.
And I do know that we are composed of elements,
Yes.
just like the planet. And I'm trying to understand a couple things. One, there's this organizing intelligence.
Yes.
Sort of like the fish, group of fish know how to move in the same way, or birds know how to turn. And sometimes at a gathering like this, there's a kind of a group mind that starts to come up.
Yes.
And would you say something about the organizing intelligence of our body,
Yes.
mind, and also that of the earth and their relationship?
All right, one moment. Well, starting with the organizing principle of your body, it is again being heart-centered. As you know, your heart has the biggest electromagnetic field of your body, and it is this organ that brings blood, energy, life, prana to circulate to every other organ. And so by being centered here, you start to align with these natural forces. Now, consider that trees, in a way, have their own heartbeat. And scientists have now proven that trees have much like a sort of pulse, that over a certain period of hours, depending on the tree, they allow water and energy, nutrients to go back into the earth, and over a certain period of hours, then they bring in energy. It is a very different kind of heartbeat, yet it is still a rhythm. So the more that you understand that everything works with this rhythm, simply in different time frames, you can find that rhythm again within yourself. Your heart beats quickly, yet let's say the Earth's heartbeat, a day's heartbeat, is how your planet circulates around the sun. All of these cycles are interconnected. And your tapping into this is really coming into your heart. This is why we say follow your heart's passion, because this is what brings you to align with that flow all around you. When you listen and you feel what your heart is guiding you to next, and imagine the sort of pathways that splinter off, and feel which one is encoded with this highest expression of joy and connectivity, and take those steps, that is your alignment into it. Now, in terms of groups, having a sort of dialogue and teaching about what it really means to live from your heart, to act from your heart, to listen to it, will create that container more. Even certain exercises that allow you to create a simulation of chaos and use the heart to reorient yourself back into order, you will find that chaos itself is an organized thing unless you disconnect from the heart. The organizing principle of higher realms is as well heart. Even non-physical beings have, in a way, their own energetic heart. And by using your heart in meditation, you can connect with certain resonance points. Now, your heart is your own center, yet the center of your earth is a heart resonance point for Gaia, for the whole planet. Now, the many different layers around the heart are, in a way, keys into how this heart really functions. At its core, you are now seeing that the earth is solid, deep iron, and around it is a very molten plasmatic expression, followed by many layers of sediment and oils and great decomposing matter. All of this is part of what makes the heart alive. And if you can imagine sinking deep into that heart and feeling the connection form between your heart and the earth's heart, that is enough to key your consciousness into the earth's code. The universe's heart seems very, very far away, a great black hole in the center of your galaxy. Yet even this seeming black hole is not empty. In fact, it is very dense and very encoded with information. Beyond seeming to suck in energy, it emits even a greater radiation that is transmitted to your planet. And invoking this center in your own meditation allows the cosmos, the galactic heart, to align with your own. Know that every being around you has a heart, and when you invoke a spirit, know that any invocation that you believe is enough. Some traditions will ask you to put out 20 candles in a circle at a certain time of day and say a certain word. That works. And also saying, "Dear Pleiadian guides of mine, I ask you to show yourself right now before me." That works, if you believe it. If you have many different layers of belief about these things, then you must align with them. If you have learned it a certain way and you really believe that, honor that. Really, we are always with you, and we feel your intention. Beings like ourselves will not work with people who are serving themselves before the greater good of others. There are beings that will present themselves as Pleiadians to serve those individuals, though they will be deluded. Yet, really, when you ask us to come, we are there. So by feeling into your own heart when we show up, what energy is my heart receiving? How does this awaken my own inner thoughts, emotions? Allow yourself to sink into the heartbeat and surrender outcome. Surrender attachment to what this transmission would look like. Surrender any ideas of what you think contact with an extraterrestrial or any being might be like, and allow it to show up in your body. So that means moving from your heart to every part of your body. As the energy enters through your heart, and then the heartbeat through the blood sends those impulses to every other part of you. When you are in contact with a different spirit, you may feel a certain part of your body light up, you may feel a certain emotion light up, or you may simply get that direct download of an idea, a thought, an impression. Stay present with it, and as much as you would wish to, ask for many spirits to show up around you. When it comes to coming into the flow, ultimately, as you know, again, it is the heart. And these sort of practices will assist you very much in creating that flow.
I'm understanding that following the passion is a heart expression that taps into rhythms
Yes.
and into flow, and that the planet's rhythms and flows is a way of pulsations like a heartbeat, and there's the connection there.
Yes.
And how that the center of the earth and the center of this galaxy, it's all one.
Yes.
And to connect into those is really the heart expression. So a second part of this understanding or question is, on the planet Earth, can we understand humans as an evolving nervous system? Or how much, and maybe they're not this separate, different nations that live in different geographic areas on the
Yes.
planet, then those geographic areas may be understood as organs on the planet.
Yes.
And then when we live, say, on Hawaii or Central America, then we can both be of service to that organ by being very deeply tapping into Hawaiian land energies and
Yes.
spiritual practices, yet at the same time being aware of the whole planet's organizing,
Yes.
and that to be of service to the planet. So being like a really deep Hawaiian, but at the same time being conscious that we are global and we are part of the earth.
Yes.
And how is this evolving as a human nervous system to just be more conscious of all this?
A nervous system? Well, we see that metaphor to some degree, though it is almost more akin to the sort of mycelial grid that your planet already has. You are more like that than your own sort of nervous system. Because again, your nervous system does not receive all of the impulses of spirit. Your nervous system is in a way more physicalized, and it does develop with time, though there are higher energetic structures that receive these more energetic impulses. Though it is certainly true that every part of your planet is alive with its own unique frequency. And more, everything is interconnected. So you must honor the area where you are grounding, and also all the areas that you walk upon and all the areas around the planet. They are all interconnected, and as you are exchanging many goods between these areas, this does allow energies to move very quickly. And also, well, your planet is certainly in great danger right now. So more and more you will be getting the cues from this, and the environment will be speaking to you and showing you certain changes that are occurring to mirror the change in human consciousness. For example, some regions experience great amounts of forest fires that are escalating over time. And this is a metaphorical teaching about what it means to have excessive fire energy. Fire is, of course, your creative expression. And when you use your creative expression to outweigh the importance of your feeling body, the emotional body, water, the material, the ground, the stability, earth, and your creative expression burns stronger, you will create more of this. And this is really what many tribes have foreseen when they have said, it is the people of fire that will disbalance the planet. And it is also the people of fire coming together with all other people that will reunite the planet. So you may see in these times to come that the ring of fire that you now inhabit is going to become a little bit more active, both energetically and physically. And these energetic activations are very important. So pay attention to what happens when there are earthquakes and there are schisms. There are many changes occurring on your planet now. And yes, every natural force is teaching you something. We are not sure if that answers your question, so please continue.
is the progression of this that all beings on this planet are going to be able to become one planetary being, that how we understand evolution as humans or dogs or a type of plant, that really these are just parts of one great organism,
Oh, yes.
and that this great organism will become more and more conscious of itself and may one day actually even leave the planet.
Oh, yes. Though that is many hundreds of years in the future, that
Only
all
hundreds?
together...
Yeah.
Well, okay, let's put it this way. Some of you will have the opportunity to leave the planet within hundreds of years. In thousands of years, you will be required to leave the planet because of solar activities. Yet, until then, you are becoming much more conscious of the interconnectedness of everything. And yes, eventually you will become intelligent to the point that you are aware of yourself as a collective organism. Though this is a bigger process, and you yourselves are forerunners in this process.
And we can be of service to this process by beginning to become aware of it and
Yes.
just help it happen in smoother ways,
Yes.
and being maybe way showers for people
Yes.
and trying to live this more in our own lives.
Yes.
Um,
Teach the path of the heart and live the path of your own heart, and learn to communicate with nature, because you are nature and you interact with nature daily. Even if you live in the city, speak to the trees outside your house and the flowers. Listen to what they have to say. Everything that you encounter is a synchronistic teaching for you, and the more you learn how to receive that and work with that and teach others the same path, the more you will all have that direct communication with spirit through everything around you, working harmoniously. Or working disharmoniously for the sake of better understanding harmony.
thank you.
Yes, we thank you. Do we have any more time for another question? Or is that enough for now? All right. One more question.
I wanted to ask about death and dying.
Oh, yes.
And the process
All right.
of that, and that, yeah, about whether we're returning here as, you know, future ancestors, are like how our souls incarnate into.
All right. Well, this is a very complex thing that we can give you the gist of. Let's just put it that way. For us to explain all of it, well, that would be a couple of books, perhaps. Now, when you leave your body, you return to spirit. And you are an eternal being. This is the most important thing to understand, is that the you are is never going anywhere. You are always remaining here and now, and you will always be who you are. Now, as you return to spirit, it is a new birth. It is a new remembrance of who you have always been. And so one initial experience will be the life review, and then the meeting of those familial souls who have brought about the experience of the physical body that is now parting, rather. And there will be the sort of imagination generated out of belief, the belief that you conjured of a so-called afterlife. Now, we have said imagination is the key for understanding these higher realms, though one thing that is important to understand is that your own belief systems can sometimes influence these bigger experiences like dreams and medicine journeys and so on and so forth. Through the process of imagination, you will find the sort of belief systems that have generated the astral phenomenon of the same thing occurring again and again. And with time, if you follow that path, that shamanic path, you will learn how to release the beliefs that distort your connection to spirit. So this will be the final experience of your greatest distortion. And it can even be a good one. Perhaps you believe you are a very good person and you will go to heaven. You will have the experience of heaven with the pearly gates and so on and so forth. Yet in that awareness, you will be able to understand that what you are experiencing is a real projection. Finally, this will lead to a true immersion back into spirit. You will meet your source. And we can only speak about this in metaphors, for to really describe the energetic experience behind it would be impossible. We can say that you will experience great bliss in this process. You will experience great love and great remembrance. And as you remerge with spirit and your own oversoul, many experiences that you have had from other lifetimes will also come back. You will be given a choice as you meet spirit, and the choice will be to come back to your body or to leave it. Now, sometimes you will have an experience of death in which there are many other timelines that you could come back and re-inhabit the body. So sometimes you die and then you meet spirit and you say, Spirit, I am ready to come back. And you switch into a different timeline of Earth and continue on living without any clear recollection of the quantum experience that just occurred. If you choose to stay with spirit there, you will have that experience of higher dimension, your own higher dimensional nature. And within that experience, you can certainly choose to focalize your consciousness into some sort of incarnate experience and then return to spirit. You will have the ability to remember and see many places within the multiverse as spirit. And the reincarnation, that is a choice that you make. You can choose to come back or you can choose to not come back. And if you have not learned all the lessons that you need, most likely you will choose to step back into another body. Yet you will remain, as you have always been, one soul as part of that bigger oversoul. Is that enough for you at this time? For again, there are many ways that you can continue to develop this understanding. We would suggest a book from the Neil Donald Walsh. We believe it is called Home with God. It describes the process of birthing into spirit in one of the clearest ways that you of humans have ever channeled in detail.
Oh. Yeah, that feels good. I did have one quick question.
All right.
About, is there a way that we can facilitate people's dying process to care for the body after they've passed on, that would help them to move quicker into...
Well, you've theorized about that for quite some time. And really allow that to be to the preference of the person who is leaving their body, as everybody will have their own way that suits them most. Really, we would say that the body still retains that connection to the soul for quite some time, so you can meet the soul through the experience of the body or what you do with the remains, and that is negotiable. You must collaborate, you as living humans and those who are passing on, to find the ways that honor everyone's preferences the most. There is no right or wrong way or better or worse way from our perspective.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, we thank you.
Can I ask a question about children?
No. We are done with questions at this time, though we thank you. We would like to conclude with a meditation and a transmission to allow you as well to come deeper into contact with your own guides. Now, picture first around the circle a group of beings of light, holding hands perhaps, sending energy into the space. Call forth your own guides, here and now, to surround, to protect, to hold you. And as they create this great circle of light, to hold all of you, see that it creates a column, a pillar of energy that goes from here where you are, down to the center of the earth, and all the way up to the center of the universe. And as your guides and you all create this column of light together, bring your focus back to your body where you yourself create your own individual column of light, connecting you down to the center of the earth, up to the center of the universe. And now bring one hand or both hands onto your own heart, your own center within this column of light. Here, listen to your heartbeat. As you listen to your heartbeat, together, allow us all to hold the intention that our hearts synchronize with each other's hearts, that our hearts synchronize with the heart of the earth and the heart of the sky. And as our heart comes into a balance, we allow for our imaginations to behold the beauty, the majesty of the connections we have beyond. Simply listen to your heart, to the sounds around you, to the birds, to the trees, to the wind, to your own breath. And with your listening, with your presence, feel an aura of light getting brighter and brighter with every beat. Allow your focus to grow around you laterally to the trees. And as you glow and vibrate this immense light, notice that every one of you humans and every one of the trees emits a similar light. Imagine a tree ally. Come and form around you. The body of a great tree, your own favorite tree, forms. It's a phantom image surrounding your body. And with this tree that you create, with this ally, see roots of light from your feet, from the base of your spine, that grow deep, deep, deep into the earth. And follow the many layers as they go. First being the layer of the mycelium grid, the many plants and the fungi that travel around the world. And know that through this grid, your prayers are carried to the entire planet. Through this grid, your thoughts are carried to everyone on this planet. Through this grid, telepathy is enabled. It is ever present. And all of your impulses go through as a spiritual and an electromagnetic current. Feel this energy rippling. And go even deeper now to the minerals and the metals, creating another layer of grids, of structures, that then allow for the deeper elemental forces of the earth to vibrate up to you. Feel these allies and the power they create to carry this magnetic charge more precisely. Follow your roots even deeper, getting to what you may call a black lake of decaying compounds, your ancestors, animals, plants, over millions of years compacted into oils. This oil gives you many powers, yet beneath you it acts as a library to keep the past awake as a memory that you can channel. Feel its energy arising, and take your roots even deeper now to this plasmatic force of the earth. Much like a sun within your planet, your earth is burning, it is alive, it is molten, and it is indeed plasma. This plasma can be received into your blood. The iron in your blood receives this impulse of light when you focus upon it, when you ask for this plasma to charge you. Deeper even into the center of your earth. A solid core of iron. Imagine its vibration. Feel it vibrating as a heart. As you imagine this vibration raising up to you, allow it to move through all of these layers into your own heart, bringing the earth's heart here. Still with your focus here on your heart, feeling how this earth energy travels up through your lower body and your lower chakras to stabilize the frequency of your passion and your heart. Now moving up beyond, allow your focus to go out through the top of your head, seeing strands of light that move through your crown chakra down to your heart. First witnessing the thread of silver, the thread of gold that move up to your sun and moon, making life possible. Breathe in these gold and these silver energies. Feel them descending and spiraling into your body in a double helix fashion. As you breathe in this light, feel the warmth and feel the coolness of them both. And know that they both make your life possible. And that within the information in the sunlight and in the moonlight, there are always codes that you can breathe in, that you can enliven. Follow even more threads further and further, now going through your sun into many stars out that are sister planets, these stars that seem stationary in your night sky, have messages for you. To Sirius, to Arcturus, to Alcyon and Maya, if you wish. And imagine these blue lights channeling in through your crown, spiraling down, filling your body with blue and white light. Awakening within you the codes of your ancestry from far beyond. You can use this energy to remember your celestial origins and your connections. And finally, connecting all the way to the center of your galaxy, a supermassive black hole. While it may appear dark, notice the quality, notice the intensity that emanates from it. Hear information from other galaxies, from other universes, enters into your galaxy. And while it is millions of light years away, notice how potent it is to simply bring your focus there, imagining that energy with all of the light of the stars descending into your heart and synchronizing you. Here you are the center. Here you are the mediator. And now feeling with every heartbeat, with every breath, this liquid crystal light enlivening you, bringing this connection more powerfully. And imagine before you now another pillar of light for your own guide to step into. This can be a guide from the earth realm or from the star realm. Ask them to step forward. And notice, do they come from above or do they come from below? You may get an image. You may get simply a felt sense of presence. Whatever you receive, ask for your heart connection to open up to their heart connection. Ask for the energy that they have to emanate into you, to match your vibration. And notice what occurs as it enters your body. How does it feel? What images present themselves? What ideas? And in this state of connection, if you would wish, we would allow you to channel this energy into some sound, into some light language, if you would. And we will conclude this with a transmission of energy. And you yourself can add to it with the information, with the energy coming to you from this being, this part of your own oversoul. For, well, things seem separate. All is truly one, and the being that you are meeting is another aspect of yourself. Simply allow this to flow through your mouth without any interference on your behalf. And know that the more you open your channel for this sort of interaction, the more you will find the flow naturally, and the more these codes in your DNA will awaken themselves. Unashala pakatanika ramosa labatana indik armobalata taike. Ini titi titaro malata tanesanishikapa. Kulamakato namalata namorabata. Inimakata umalakata. Unumusukutur mokoshe. Kalabako ramalate kanda anakatamo. Uta tatata ira balopototo katashi kataramo. Inimasokara pakatana anamahro lakataramo shikatata. Kula makataramo kora mal and uik ocean sarabartata tatata take amoda bana oro tototo. Alama nanamo shingi daramo sula kataramo kota tata ne kataramo sonne ika. Ilamokoto no kapatana anakarama anishikatana mosundi katarama ba nda eka nde nda ulamateka mosukoto na sanaka mba ana lo ora ditana mokota na kama inamakatana mo ndi shikama osan indu yamakola bataro masun kutara unimalakatana mo na ana umui nikatana she katawo na mala amba ara nikatana mo osun katara kula makata o yama te ni kashan sona batata tayena motorom and rest in your reception of these energies. Allow them to integrate. Whatever you may have experienced now, know that it is always potential in each and every moment. That all moments are here and now, and if you have access to frequency before, you can re-enliven that frequency again and again through the active imagination, through the memory within yourself. We love you all very much. We are always with you. And here in your heart you can know that you and ourselves are one. And that you are one with all that may appear beyond you. Here in your heart you know when you receive that impulse of life and all of the information you need for every moment. And as you continue to grow, you will always find that here in your heart knowing, you receive what you need for that moment until the next moment. Yet every moment, you are always here and now, and we and all of your other guides are always with you. So we thank you once again, and we shall see you in every step of that journey.
Thank you.
How's everybody feeling? Happy?